What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some more Watcher of Realms, and today, I want to make a little bit of progress. Now, at the point we are in the account, progress is going to slow down substantially. And the reason for that is we're kind of at that break point between like where you're out of the early game and you're starting into the mid game, and since we can't really use legendary heroes, we can't really kind of abuse like super powerful things, kind of broken heroes to make progress. We have to do it the old-fashioned way with just straight brute force, which means we're going to need some really good gear. Essentially, that's what's going to boil down to. But since we've gone through and we've gotten to stage 18 in all of the gear dungeons, making progress in any of these now is going to be very tough. The jump from stage 18 to stage 19 is the biggest jump in power that you're going to see, okay? So, like, essentially from, like, all the way through the game, every quote-unquote big progress that you make, getting rid of blue gear and getting into gold gear, the jump in power is like 20,000. Getting mythic gear for the first time, the jump is like 60,000. Getting out of yellow gear entirely into only red gear is like 50,000. And all of a sudden your power jumps up 140,000 between 18 and 19. So the power difference, the amount of stats you need to take stage 18 to stage 19 is just a tremendous jump, which makes sense. You're supposed to farm stage 18 for a while, build up some good mythics, get a couple of ancients if you're lucky, and then once you get a really good stockpile of that, get some set bonuses going on, then take 19. So these are going to be a long way in the future. We're probably doing a lot of gear farming in between then and now, but we do have the gear dungeons to kind of play with. The thing here is, stage 1 is generally pretty easy in the gear dungeons. It's kind of introducing you to the stage you're going to be fighting in. Stage 2 adds a little bit of the difficulty to the dungeon, right? Physical damage usually jumps in stage 2. And then stage 3 is where your big goal is to reach, because that's going to get us where we can actually start forging gear, which we can't actually forge like 3 of each right now, just from the battle pass stuff that we get. But yeah, this is like your main goal. You want to reach stage 3 so that when you farm it, you're getting drops that can forge you T3 gear, plus you just have better drops all around. In here, as you can see, the only thing it drops is T1 gear. Once you hit stage 3, you can get drops of all kinds of gear, which is great. Plus you have chances at like ancient variants and stuff like that. So our goal today is probably going to make a little bit of progress here. I'm going to try to take stage 2 in both Gear Dungeon 1 and in Gear Dungeon 2. If we can do that, that's awesome. It is still a pretty high power level, but I feel like we can probably make that work. Stage 3, of course, that's going to be a little bit in the future after we farm these for a little while. That's the main goal. Outside of that, though, I do want to do a little bit of faction trial. We've kind of ignored the faction trial for a good bit because I haven't really been paying much attention to it. But we did snag out a legendary, or not a legendary, a lord hero for the Piercers. Piercers are up today, I might as well do some. So I figure we'll try to push this as high as we can. I feel like we'll probably end up getting somewhere between stage 7 and 9, which will give us a little bit of loot, which is great. Also, loot. Loot reminds me. We've got loot to grab. Boom. We've gotten a ton of these stockings, thingies. We're actually pretty close to finishing the entire event already, which is great. They're very generous with the amount of stockings you can receive. I was kind of worried it was going to be a really tight, like, are we going to make it kind of thing, but absolutely we're going to make it, no issue, all the way to 2,500. So we're going to go ahead and grab out the old Prancer mount. We can use that in our Void Rifts now, and then jump over here and grab out a whole host of loots here. I am 50 diamonds, a refining crystal. These are nice. I'm not sure how great they are in practice. I thought this would be the first one I've ever gotten, actually, in the game. They really need to make these a little bit more, I guess, gettable, farmable, even. But we had quite a few of these as well. Legendary summoning skill crystals. I'm sure someone out there is just absolutely fuming, so like I need skill crystals, and I don't. But we're very close to getting the soul stone. We don't need the soul stone, but The event, very generous, pretty easy to complete. With all that loot snagged out, though, I think we're going to go ahead and jump in and start doing some faction trial. If we have to swap gear around, I will. Because I do have some heroes that are geared up that obviously won't be participating in this. For now, the first few stages probably won't be too bad. I don't really need to bring any more heroes. I can bring you for funsies, but I don't really see a reason to. No big deal. Our main 3 that we've got going on, these dudes, these guys don't really even do anything. I think there's like a star thing for deploying a certain number of heroes in here. It goes up to like 6. So we might as well have 6 heroes to deploy just to make sure we don't not 3-star it. And Livian, of course, great Piercer tank. There is a Piercer healer, which we do not have. Nasande, she'd be a nice pickup for the team, of course, but having an extra range on a healer is actually kind of nice. So let's jump in, kind of knock these out. Then we'll go and switch gears into Gear Raid, or the Gear Dungeon, and try to beat Stage 2 there. So over here, what we're going to do, I think, I could probably just honestly ignore this. And I might do exactly that and just stack up damage and let these guys kind of take care of as much as they can. I'm just on their own. I mean, he might be able to kill this before it hatches. No, he's not. Yeah, he really got poisoned, or what you called it, all the way from over there. Can you reach her? No, you can't. Or maybe you can. Nah. Still poisoning this guy, but she'll take care of that for us, and that means the boss will never spawn on this one. You can't deploy a ground hero down here on this side, or this would be a lot easier. You do have to kind of snipe it out, but with Idril, it's not a big deal. We can throw her in here as well, just to make sure. But these first few stages we should kind of blow through, because like I said, we've ignored it for a while. Can we? Okay, we'll shoot the eggs. I didn't know it was going to shoot the eggs if we popped her ult or not, but it did. So those eggs will never hatch now, and now we've just got to slowly wait for the last few enemies to come out, and they're going to wait until apparently her ult, like, stops. Oh, nice. Forgot we got her to A5, so she kind of recharges her ult when she kills people. It's kind of cool. Only 3 enemies left. Very, very simple there, not hard at all. This guy, completely useless, but fun to deploy, I guess. Sip some delicious water. Keep ourselves moisturized. There we go. Minute 58 seconds, not too bad. But that little egg, I believe, eventually just turns into the boss. Like, you don't get a chance to snipe the egg out. It just, like, it's going to be the boss and it's going to be there. I do believe you can outrange it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to, I guess, try it and see. You can obviously outrange it with Idril. That would 100% work. Guess we'll throw in you here just because, why not? We're not going to deploy him, but we got him. May use him as a tank or something to eat some damage. But yeah, with Idril's ult, we shouldn't really have too much of an issue dealing with this boss, because as long as there's a little break in like the enemy spawns, she'll just snipe this egg out kind of on her own. See if he'll shoot a thing at her. I'm not sure. I think his range is like, you can't click on it and see, but I want to say that it goes kind of like this and just goes around this little back tile. So as long as you have a Lord, you can kind of just cheese this out to where it's never really a problem. Go ahead and just pop her ult, start sniping dudes out, because why not? And then we're kind of the same situation as earlier, just waiting on the last few enemies to spawn in. Sip some more water in the meantime, and we wait. I'm not sure what the delay is on this. Maybe they're expecting the boss to hatch during this time, and you're supposed to be like panicking to kill it or something. I don't know. But not really a big deal. We got her wiped out. And we haven't even got like our best gear on our dudes right now. I mean, Idril's pretty well souped up, but she has like no set bonuses. She has like hodgepodge gear, but it's like high battle power hodgepodge. So it kind of works for her. But like if I swapped her into like Deimos' set for single target damage, she would obviously hit a lot harder. That's really what we're kind of missing right now, is we need good set bonuses and good stats on that gear, which I guess is kind of the truth for the entirety of the game. So we're not like special in that regard, but No heroes can die this time, so we'll make sure that we don't place down a little bitty hero for funsies and then have it die, because that would just make me sad in my heart and have to do it again, which I don't want to. But it looks like there's no egg this time, so I'm going to just kind of do this exactly how we've been doing it and change literally nothing, because that's the way that I roll. We should be all right, I guess, for the top part. We can throw Livian down if we feel like we need a tank. I hope we don't, but you never know. I'm going to try to put Lunaria down here again. So I believe the boss comes and actually does stop and wait, and this will give us a chance to kind of snipe it out early. Because I don't think it just walks all the way to the end, because that would really suck. As long as it doesn't target her, we should be okay. And it's looking like it's not shooting the little webs at her. So oh, I lied. Here I am lying out of my face, and my face is a liar. We'll go ahead and snipe it out with Idril, though. No problem at all. And then we'll take care of the rest of things. Idril, definitely a hack for this. Being able to attack the entirety of the map is just huge. Such a good hero. So glad she's an epic and not a legendary, so we can actually use her, because she is better than a lot of the legendary marksmen for sure. Sip some more water, wait for these last dudes to kind of go down. Was this stage 8? We already at stage 8? I don't know. Go ahead and pop her ult for once just to get it done. Alrighty, so that was not bad at all. Nobody even came close to dying. Love to see that. But yeah, if we didn't have the Piercer Lord, this would be a little bit more annoying just because we wouldn't have quite the extensive range that we've got in all of our heroes. That was stage 7. So stage 8, 37,000 power jump. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, he said. Even though we're barely above that power threshold, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. All that power is pretty much congealed into 3 heroes. So I feel like, in my heart of hearts, we'll probably be alright. Go ahead and pop this in 2x, let them kind of deal with these first couple little eggs, pop them early, and then get Lunaria down in the same place we had her last time. I guess I could move her forward and she could snipe this out, since essentially she does get targeted by the boss anyway. Probably wouldn't make a big difference. But we're just going to keep it how it is for now. We do have her to drop. The only downside to a tank is if you do not kill these guys early and they blow up, it's going to hurt these guys a lot, and that's never good. I don't like that. I guess we can go ahead and pop her ult now, because, oh, she's going to just target the boss straight away. Well, that's great, I guess. Go ahead and wipe that out real fast. I guess Lunaria is kind of wasted down here, actually. But it's alright. It's not a huge deal. We don't, like, real, I guess. I figured this would be a little tougher, but I guess it does make sense that if all your power's in 3 heroes, and you're still over the recommended power, you're probably going to be okay. Because that's kind of how the battle power works. Like, if you have one really, really strong hero, they can still cheese content that's technically impossible because they're carrying all your damage. Guess we can wait on this for a second and then pop her to do some, yeah, smoke all those guys out really fast. But there we go, stage 8 down. I mean, stage 9 would be obviously really nice. That swaps us from the blues over to the purples, and that would be a great thing to pick up. So maybe we'll get lucky and that will just work out for us. 286, I mean, we're technically under the battle power, but like I said, all of our powers in 3 dudes. Well, I guess Livian does add, that's a 4th dude. Lady. Actually, they're all ladies. We have 3 dudes. Mostly, all of our powers in our ladies, though. Our dudes are just kind of weak and they're just kind of there. So maybe this time we just say no need to put Lunaria on bottom and just bring her up top to help kind of support our top DPS, even though we probably don't necessarily need it. We'll just do it anyway, because why not? Why not have a little bit more damage out there to make sure these green bros do actually just explode and die. Because we don't want them to pop on these guys. If they do, we will probably actually end up losing some dudes. We don't have any way to heal, so that's never good. This chick's going to come and wait for a second. I guess we can go ahead and pop her ult, and then we'll pop her ult, and she will... Ooh. That's going to be tight. That's going to be a really tight window if we take that down or not. Okay, just got it there, but that's okay. Like I said, if we had to redo it, I could throw Lunaria down here and she would still get some shots in the boss and finish it off. But that one ult just drilled that whole boss down to 0, and that's awesome. So that was definitely the hardest part of this accomplished. We only have 9 enemies left. They're pretty much all on screen except for, I guess, that. Pop her ult here, blow these guys up, and then... Well, she's not quite ready to pop her ult again. She's getting there. There we go. You can go ahead and pop this egg now, and we're good. So there we go. I'm not sure if that hatches into just one enemy or if it hatches into a bunch. I couldn't really tell you for sure. But 3-starred that one too, so that's great. Love to see it. Now we're now into the purples, and that's good. You love to see the purple business. Bam. Stage 10, remember that thing I was talking about, really large power jumps? It's about 300,000 power more harder, so we're not going to try that one. No. We're going to have a little bit of, ooh, look at that loot. Bam, grab all that. I'm not sure what the word I was looking for was, but it was something, and it was good. So now we've made some serious progress in Trial of the Piercers. Love to see that. I don't know if we can upgrade our Pantheon any. If we can, we probably should. Just because a little extra buff, never a bad thing. Ooh, and it's attack bonus. This is good. We can, I think, desymbol backwards. We can also assemble forwards. So we'll go ahead and do that. Do I have enough to upgrade now? Of course I don't. But we can. Holy freaking scroats. We'll do it. I'm not sure how much gold that just used. But this will get us much closer to the 40 cutoff. Just kidding. That was like 2 or 3 levels. That actually hurt me a little bit to do that. But whatever. We've got quite a bit of attack out of that. A little bit of attack speed. I'll take it. That's going to make everybody just a little bit stronger when we go into these gear dungeon fights. And that's going to be important. So let's jump over here and jump into gear dungeon. We'll do one first, I guess. That kind of makes sense. Physical damage immunity means the vast majority of our damage needs to come from mages. That just kind of makes sense there. Let's jump in, look at our lineup. So Lunaria actually really a nice pickup for this because she does magic damage as a marksman, has a little bit better range. The downside is she's single target damage, and AoE is kind of just better in the gear dungeons. Not sure why Baron's a recommended hero here. Maybe just because he doesn't die easily. I'm not sure. Alicia, magic damage. She's a huge pickup for the team. Glad to have her aboard. I guess we just try to make it work like this. I'm just kind of thinking in my head. We'll make it. I was kind of wondering how I could like maybe slide Dolores into here, because Dolores is a really good hero and very solid for boosting your damage. And if we end up running low on damage and things are like building up on our tanks, she is an answer to that. We can pop her and then kind of murk through a wave. But we'll run it like it is now. We are quite a bit beneath the recommended power here, about 90,000 points. So when this opens up, the boss is going to shoot a damaging attack to, I think it's the last deployed unit, unless it is a tank. So let's look at her real quick, make sure. Boss? Weird. I don't know. I've never seen that before. Maybe it doesn't even tell you. Okay, yeah. So she attacks defenders as a priority. If you don't have a defender down, I think she just attacks the last deployed unit. So that might come into play here. I don't know. But we do want to put a tank down first, just because if we don't, whoever she attacks will probably die, because she hits really, really hard. Let's go ahead and get Greed down. He's got AoE magic damage. That's going to be good for us. Yeah, good lord, almost 24,000 damage. So that's a lot of damage coming in on old Olag there, but he's got those nice shields, so that's great. I'm not sure if I want to lead out further with damage and then have like Mari back here as kind of like a backup, you know. I mean, maybe could put like, no, that seems stupid. Don't get too crazy. Mari up close means they'll get, we'll do it like this. We'll have him as backup here, and I will be popping a healer down probably next, just to make sure that we don't like die, because she will hit everybody on the screen with one of her abilities, and we're going to need HPs to not die to that. Ooh, I don't like that though. He doesn't heal everyone from there. That could be an issue for me in the coming future. So here's the thought. Do we just abandon the idea of running Mari? I feel like that's dangerous. I don't know. We'll do it like this. Maybe it will be okay. Maybe it'll all just be fine. Let's put this in 1x just to see where our damage is kind of sitting. Can throw her down. She's definitely gonna probably die. Whatever. We'll do it like this for now. We can pop Navros's ult here and pop Oleg to get a little extra block. The downside is these guys heal when they deal damage to you, which really sucks. So you've got to kind of make sure they die pretty quickly. I'm thinking a potential cheese for this. I just actually brought this up in my head. Maybe that John Carr guy, because he actually curses people that he blocks, and when they're cursed, they can't attack. And he can block 4 people. So he actually might be better than a straight tank here, because he would stop them from attacking him. That actually could be a strat. I might have to just keep that in my little brain bank, because that seems like it could be something. For up top, we could try to deal with these guys early by placing Elysia further back, and that might be actually a good idea. I kind of like that. We'll do like so, and this way she'll be attacking these guys while she's over here and kind of preemptively dealing with them. And we can put her like right here. I think that'll work, right? She'll deal with a couple of these guys that way, and then we can put, oh, slow down, world. Let's go ahead and get a freeze. How is she not hurt at all? Am I having a stroke? I figured she'd be hurt by now. But this freeze could be big for us in terms of like keeping our dudes alive. Go ahead and pop another healer right here. So far, so good. She's gonna take out a couple of these guys, and they don't split in this mode. In Gear Dungeon 2, they split and make more of themselves, so as long as you can weed a couple of them out, you're probably okay. She has fairly good self-heal as well here, so we can pop her ult, and she's gonna do some work for us. A substantial amount of work. She already took out that wave behind her, so that is huge. That's looking really good for us. I'm feeling far more confident in our ability to do this now. So I was a little worried there at first, because they stack up on Olag and start healing. That can get very dangerous. I'm not sure why she's not doing her little AoE sploosh damage. Maybe that's only in Gear Dungeon 2? Does Gear Dungeon 1 not have that? I don't know. Call me crazy. I could have swore that she would attack everyone on the field with a certain attack, but am I dumb? I guess I'm just stupid. So don't listen to me on that. We're fine. Probably. We're probably okay. So she's doing a pretty good job of weeding these guys out pretty early. Probably should have popped her ult a little bit faster and charged her ult up earlier. But it seems like we're doing okay. She can block too. And even though they do, holy crap, they hit hard. Let's pop her ult and try to get these guys down as fast as humanly possible, because they are doing some work. Pop Olag, pop this, get some freezage. Freeze edge. Okay, they're frozen. Those guys went down. We got 4 enemies up here. They're about to go down. That was close. That was close. Nobody made it through though, so we're okay. There's no need to panic. We're doing fine. We're doing absolutely fine. Yeah, this is working. This is working. I don't have hollows to charge her up a little bit faster yet, so hopefully she can deal with these guys pretty quick. She does get her ult back relatively quickly, but these guys hit really hard. We do not have an Olag ult down here. I could pick him up. To make sure those guys up front aren't healing. Please take them down very, very quickly. Oh my gosh, super clutch right there. Pop her ult, didn't need to do that. That's dumb on my part. But it will take care of these guys back here, which is great. We've only got 5 enemies left. So we could probably actually just sell this guy off right now and be okay. Not that we really need to. But see how he keeps kind of healing himself? Very annoying. We bursted him down there, so we're absolutely okay. Pop her ult, kind of charge everybody up a little bit. She's took care of one of those guys. Now we just got these 2 left, the last 2 enemies. I think we're good to go here. I would be very shocked to see us lose. They do hit really, really hard, though. Please don't die. Please don't make me a liar on the last 2 enemies and make me cry in the nighttime. Okay, we're gonna be all right. So there we go. We got it down. Elysia super clutch for holding this top part here. Couple mythic drops, I'll take it. You can get a huge array of drops from this. It's not like a guaranteed like just one set. You get tons of different sets to pop out of here. I think even like main weapons, Calamity popped in here and some Guardian. Both of them turned out to be garbage, so we will sell them. But overall, pretty happy with that. 200 blood crystals, dungeon crystals, I said, for the first completion. I'll take it. Give me that. As for stage 3, that's when the difficulty really, really spikes in these. So stage 2, super glad we beat it. That was awesome. Stage 3, 70,000 power jump. We were already like 90,000 power below this one, but it gets crazy. Like the little minions, how hard they were hitting in this one. In this one, they will just like mow down. Like even Olag would just get like just sawed in half. And that's dangerous. So this one's hard. Even my main is not taking care of stage 3 in Gear Dungeon 1 yet, I don't think. But I have taken care of more in Gear Dungeon 2. So I'm a little bit more familiar with Gear Dungeon 2 and how it works. For this one, essentially, we have splitting mechanics. So your enemies make more enemies and make more enemies. So AoE damage, very important. Making sure they go down quickly, also important. But they're also immune to magic damage in this dungeon. So physical damage becomes your more important source of damage. The Death Whisper isn't really a big deal early on. It's just a little bit of damage that you take over time when you kill the Banshees. Up until, I believe it's stage 5, then it becomes a real problem, because when the Spectre disappears, it kills everyone in range. So you got to make sure you boop it, I guess, out of your range so it doesn't kill everyone. But it's not really too big of a mechanic to deal with. Like, Death Whisper's not that bad. The haste on them also isn't that bad. The split is the harder mechanic and the magic damage immunity. And then at stage 3, you also have to start dealing with a mini boss and a second crystal to defend, which makes it a much, much harder stage. But stage 2 shouldn't be too bad. There's different ways to do this. I think we'll just leave Alicia out. I don't think we have a real need for her here. Obviously, magic damage immunity means she's less important anyways, but stage 3 plus, we'll probably have to bring her back because that mini-boss is actually only vulnerable to magic damage, which is kind of funny. So maybe Lunaria and her will kind of tag team that later down the road. For now, we need physical damage and we need AoE damage, which we've got that in Maul and we've got that in Estrid. These two people are really, really solid at this, so I think we'll probably be all right. I could even sub Idril out here for Brienne, just for a little bit more AoE, but I don't think we'll probably need it. I think we'll be okay. So we are still a little bit below the recommended power for this one, but we're going to just give it a run anyways and see how it kind of works. Now on my main account, I do have an A5 Wrath, which makes things a little bit easier to kind of sustain himself. In this one, we don't have an A5 Wrath yet, but I still think the same method will kind of work as long as we have a healer on them. So this bottom part down here, I've learned as long as you kill the enemies that spawn in over here fast enough when they walk in, they don't really get a chance to split more than once. So there's only like 4 enemies, and you can block 4 enemies with 2 fighters. So generally that's how I open up with this. I put like Wrath down and Deimos, but really any 2 fighters will probably work for the earlier portion of the stages. Once you get later down the road, you'll probably need a fighter here that can boop things backwards, or use Maul here to boop things backwards. We'll go ahead and get a healer down on these guys, because she will attack everybody. Does it tell me on this one? I don't know. Whatever. Oh yeah, there we go. Aha! See, I knew it. I'm not stupid. But yeah, so she'll summon a little mini boss here in the first waves, and it just walks up around here and all the way down here, and you gotta kill it within a minute. If you don't, it explodes and kills everybody around it for a buttload of damage. Just not good. But in stage 3, that actually turns into, she spawns over here, and there's a crystal you have to defend right here, and it's much, much more difficult. For right now, our heals are looking okay. Let's go ahead and get some dudes down over here. I'm going to use Olag as my tank to block her, because she does hit really hard. And we can throw Estrid behind that, though, and she'll have the extra attack range. She'll attack the boss, also lower its defense, which is great. And then I can even stack extra damage up, like with Idril, pointing forward. She's actually probably a pretty good choice, like so. Because she does attack the same person a lot, does a pretty good amount of damage. So far, Vortex is doing a fine job of healing everybody. I don't see any real issues here. The real question is going to boil down to, there's different ways to run this. So the way I look at it, for now, our Maul hits pretty hard, and I don't think he has a limit to people that his ult will hit. I could be wrong on that, and if I am, that could cost me real big real soon. But on my main account, I stacked up here for my AoE damage to kill these minions before they kept splitting. On this one, I don't really want to try to split too many heroes out to deal with that, so I'm just going to try to bring him back here, and then run like Dolores to buff him, and then hope that his little fish throw is actually capable of just murking all of these dudes, no matter how many of them are on the field. So right now the question is going to be, do we kill the boss fast enough to not get exploded by her doom explosion? And it's looking like yes, we're doing fine. Wrath taking some damage here, so is Deimos. I can pop Vortex ult here. I don't feel like I need it though. They did come back and they're doing okay. They get pretty close to dying there. Obviously, A5 Wrath would make that not even an issue. Let's go ahead and throw her in here. I could throw, obviously, Hollow in as well to get a second layer of healing and also some rage regen to pop more ultimates, and that could also be a strat. But I think if I just pop Dolores in, probably should have put a horn on her. It would have made more sense than this. But either way, if Maul's fish doesn't instantly kill everyone, I will have Estrid's ult as kind of a backup, and that should kind of mow things down. So I'm hoping the AoE between these two is enough to deal with all of these guys, even though they're going to technically split again into 8 units. We should be all right. I think if I pop her ult, she will attack the boss straight away, and she does. So that just gives a little bit of extra damage early on, so we're not having to worry too much about it. Keep this in 1x just to kind of watch things progress. I don't want to get like carried away and then have people die or something because I wasn't watching. We can pop Deimos here just to get some more damage down on these guys. Boss is down, or mini boss I guess is down. Here comes a whole bunch of little bros. So we're gonna pop Dolores like so, and then we're gonna throw a fish and see how that does. So that fish just freaking decimated those bros. They didn't have a chance, and that's great. So if we can do that, it doesn't matter how many stack up. Can I click on you? Okay, so it doesn't say there's a limit to his attack, like a number of enemies he can attack at a time. So if these guys keep splitting, even if there's a bunch of them there, as long as I can one-shot them, it doesn't matter how many there is. So instead of stacking up here to kill them before they split, I'm just going to deal with them back here. This feels like the better way of doing it. Just feels pretty safe. I'm not sure if they get stronger over time. That might be a thing. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure if his salt erosion, when it procs, if that actually affects the damage of his Abyssal Surge as well, because that could be something to time also. But for nowsies, we know we can take care of this boss without any ultimates being popped. We've already done it. So I'm going to kind of save off on those, just in case we do end up needing like to pop Estrid for all these dudes. I'm going to go ahead and pop his ult, just to kind of get everyone healed up a little bit faster. Boss is looking like she's going down relatively soon. Let's go ahead and throw a fish. I don't have a Dolores ult right now, so we did do a lot of damage there, but we actually didn't one-shot him, and that's a little bit scary. But he does do AoE damage with his basic attack anyways, so it ended up working out just fine. That's great. And we will have Dolores' ult for this last pack of enemies. I believe this will be, what's that, 4, 5, 6, be 21, 22, 23? There may be some more enemies pop up somewhere, I don't know. I feel like, unless these guys have already split or something, I don't know. My brain's not great. The math in these is hard, because when they split, it like doesn't change the number of enemies. It's weird. But for nowsies, it's looking okay. We can pop Idril's ult here and start kind of whittling down this mini-boss right now. We've got some enemies coming in down here. We've only got 3 enemies left to kill. I'm assuming it's the boss and these two. I guess I can just go ahead and pop Estrid's ult. She'll still be in ult by the time these guys get in range. We'll pop her, and then we will throw a fish at all those dudes. Those dudes are down. We can pop Deimos. He's actually underneath Dolores' ult as well. Bro almost died right there, so that was a little sketch. But we're down to the last 2 enemies. I believe that is these people, unless they only count as 1 and she's going to summon another Blood Mistress. I don't know. Either way, it's looking like we've actually got this one kind of whipped right now, and that makes me very happy. Slurp on some victory water. Oh, there is another person coming in. Okay, so the boss is left now, so it's just going to be these dudes on the bottom. And we should be fine. We've beaten these guys before, so we should be okay here. Let them kind of tag team these dudes on the bottom. And then we don't think we'll have Dolores' ult for this, but I don't think we'll necessarily need it. Actually, we probably will have her ult for this, which is great. Go ahead and chop that guy, pop her ult, throw a fish at her, get fished. Holy crap, did you see that damage chunk? That's what I'm talking about. Get freaking smoked on, dude. Maul OP. But there we go, we got stage 2 of Gear Dungeon 2 down as well. Super duper awesome. A lot of progress there. Stage 3, gonna be a bit, okay? I know we kind of did this and it didn't look too bad, but I have the benefit of obviously having done these stages before on my main account, so I kind of know what to expect. But I also know the difficulty spike between stage 2 and 3 is very real. It's not like, oh, it's a little bit harder. It's a lot harder. So that's going to be a tough one for us. I don't know if within the next 13 days, Stage 3 will go down by my hand. I don't want to burn all my dungeon keys right away, though, just because if we did manage to say, 12 days from now, after all of our summons, we do take Stage 3 down and we can unlock all this great gear, I would hate to have just burned 97 keys or whatever, 98 keys on Stage 2. Because essentially I'd have been throwing away every single chance at all of this crafting material, all the better stuff I could have been getting. I would have just been like, don't need that. But yeah, I feel like Gear Dungeon 2 is probably going to be the first place we take to Stage 3. I just feel like Dungeon 1 is the harder dungeon. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe with some pulls that we end up coming up with, we'll get some heroes that'll make it much easier. For me, I feel like Dungeon 2 is just a little bit easier to deal with. So we'll try that again in the future, once we've built up our dudes a lot, farmed a little bit more gear. I think we have an event coming up. Buttons. Gear Raid 1. Gear Raid 1 won't make as big a difference. We do need, obviously, some good Calamity, some good Annihilating Might set, stuff like that. But what we're really needing is our accessories. That's kind of where we're coming short on right now. If you look at my gear, even like Idril, my highest battle power unit right now, of course this is hodgepodge gear. This is a terrible, terrible gear set for the stats that rolled on it, but they rolled good, so I'm using it, and that's just kind of the way it is right now. Early game, you don't care about sets as much as you care about stats. Get the right stats, and then later in the game, as it starts getting more difficult, start replacing these, good stat, bad set with good set kind of things. So right now, she's got nothing really special on. She still has, even though these are good substats and whatnot, it's a legendary. So there's 26% missing attack bonus in the main stat. That's a lot of attack to just drop off for no reason. And there's a whole fourth substat that's just completely missing. So we do have a lot of work to do on our gear, especially our right side gear. Our left side gear is not, fantastic. This is a good piece. There's nothing wrong with this piece at all. But obviously this could be rolling a flat attack or something like that as a substat, and that would be great. We don't have that. Obviously a lot less health as well on legendary gear. But even my best geared heroes right now, not everyone's in full mythic. Some of them are, but even the ones that are, this is not a cohesive set. It's just a bunch of random stuff stacked on him. Same here. She's still rocking a couple. Look at this. She's got freaking Wrathful Onslaught crap on right now. That's not great. But like I said, our gear, definitely something we need to work on, and that's where we're probably going to be focusing in the future, is just grinding out tons of gear raid, trying to get some mythics. If we get some good mythics, get some good ancients even, that would be even nicer. Start building some set bonuses up, and as we start getting set bonuses, start dipping our toes in some of the Gear Raid 19s. The first one I think we'll probably be able to take is either Gear Raid 1 or 2. 3, I have my doubts about. That's very, very tough. That was tough on my main account, even with Legendary Heroes. Very hard 319 in my opinion. But this one, Stage 19 can be somewhat cheesed. It's still going to be quite difficult, but I think we might be able to handle it. And Gear Raid 1 is going to be a lot about AoE damage. So there's a chance we can make this one work too. But those are our big goals in the future, is just making a Stage 19 push happen, and then starting to farm, maybe an Invigoration set would be great. Even though Ageless Wrath is not the greatest set in the game for damage, it's still pretty solid. It's definitely going to be better than most of your lower tier gear, in my opinion. But Gear Raid 3's got the sets we really want, right? Soulbound Arcana, the Infernal Roar. These are going to be massive, massive damage multipliers for our units. Absolutely huge. We can still farm, the Wisdom and Insight, and then ascend those if we get enough Ascension mats into Soulbound or Infernal Roar. The downside is the Insight set is, in my opinion, pretty garbage. It's not very good on its own. 15% crit rate, okay, whoop-de-doodles, not a big deal. The extra damage equal to your attack or your level or something is, also pretty garbage. That's not a big damage booster. The Wisdom's a pretty solid set, though. I won't argue with that. That's actually pretty good. So we'll do our best to get some gear and then start making some progress forward. But with that said, we made quite a bit of progress today. We knocked out quite a few stages there in the faction trial, which was great. And then we managed to take down Stage 2 in not just Gear Dungeon 1, but also Gear Dungeon 2, all with only epic heroes. So I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and show your support. And I will see you guys in the next one.